The 2023 RAV4 continues the tradition, with a cargo-friendly interior, an attractive base price, and sensible road manners. A 2.5-liter four-cylinder drives the front or all four wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Acceleration is somewhat pokey, but fuel economy is good. A hybrid and a plug-in hybrid powertrain are also available, but we review those models separately. The RAV4's rugged looks allow it to look at home among 4Runners and Tacomas, but even the most capable TRD off-road model isn't going to make it to the same remote locales as those more rugged off-roaders. The RAV4 is at its best when it's tackling more suburban tasks, such as daily commuting and trips to the home improvement store. Toyota includes a host of driver assistance tech and desirable infotainment features as standard, which helps bolster the RAV4's value relative to its rivals. This year, Toyota has swapped out the RAV4's infotainment system for a more modern one with larger display screens. An 8.0-inch display replaces last year's standard 7.0-inch units on the XLE, XLE Premium, and Adventure trims. Limited and TRD off-road models get a larger 10.5-inch display. Toyota's latest software interface is both prettier and more intuitive than the outgoing system, and it's capable of over-the-air updates and provides wireless connectivity for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. A 7.0-inch display in the gauge cluster is now standard, while a 12.3-inch one is optional on XLE Premium and TRD off-road models and is standard on the Limited. It's hard for us to resist the cool new TRD off-road, but we'd practice restraint and choose the mid-range XLE Premium. It provides plenty of standard equipment that the and XLE don't offer, such as 19-inch wheels, a power liftgate, dual-zone automatic climate control, faux leather upholstery, and a leather-wrapped steering wheel and shift knob. Toyota makes its suite of driver assistance features standard across the lineup, so there's not much reason to go with a pricier trim, unless, of course, you really want ventilated seats. The 2023 RAV4 uses a 203 horsepower 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Front-wheel drive remains standard, but Toyota now offers a choice of all-wheel drive systems, dependent on trim. The Adventure model we drove was equipped with an all-wheel drive system that can disconnect the rear axle when needed to improve fuel economy. At our test track, the RAV4 proved to be quicker than its predecessor. We recorded a 60-mile-per-hour time of 8.0 seconds with the 2019 model and 8.3 seconds with the 2018. The dutiful four-cylinder can be noisy, especially during highway passing attempts, and the transmission on our test vehicle seemed to stumble when called upon for a downshift. The RAV4 Hybrid, reviewed separately, snapped off an even quicker 7.4-second 60-mile-per-hour time in our hands. The RAV4 feels solid and stable when cruising the interstate and holds its own when pitched into a twisty section of road, but it doesn't inspire the same confidence as our segment favorite, the Mazda CX-5. The RAV4 earned class competitive fuel economy estimates from the EPA. Front-wheel drive RAV4s can manage up to an estimated 35 miles per gallon on the highway. The all-wheel drive Adventure delivered 32 miles per gallon for us on our 75-mile-per-hour highway fuel economy route, 1 mile per gallon shy of the EPA's estimated rating for that trim. That's a fairly good result for the class, but the RAV4 was outdone in the test by the Volkswagen Tiguan, which returned 33 miles per gallon. For more information about the RAV4's fuel economy, visit the EPA's website. Inside, the RAV4 prioritizes ergonomics and cubby storage. A useful shelf spans the dash and complements the large center console. The version we tested featured a mix of soft touch surfaces and nice plastics. The base trim, called Lip, is quite Spartan and comes with cloth seats, a plasticky steering wheel, and single-zone manual climate control. On the next step up XLE, Toyota throws in a few perks. But there's much more to like on the XLE Premium, including faux leather upholstery, a leather-wrapped steering wheel and shift knob, and a stitched and padded dashboard and center console armrest. The RAV4's rear seats are easy to stow, and they fold to a nearly flat position, Opening up the cabin for cargo. We fit 10 of our carry-on suitcases behind the rear seat and 22 with it folded. The Nissan Rogue matched the RAV4 here, but the Subaru Forester beat it by 1 in each metric. Lower trims come with an 8.0-inch touchscreen, but the Limited and the TRD Off-Road get a 10.5-inch display. The infotainment system includes a 4G LTE mobile hotspot and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability. A JBL premium audio system, navigation, and a wireless charging pad for a smartphone are optional. Most models come with a separate 7.0-inch display in the gauge cluster, but a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge display is optional on the XLE Premium and TRD Off-Road and is standard on the Limited. Safety and driver assistance features. The RAV4 lineup boasts an array of standard driver assists. Buyers also can add blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert, but those features cost extra on the base model. For more information about the RAV4's crash test results, visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) and Insurance Institute for Highway Safety (IIHS) websites. Key safety features include standard automated emergency braking with pedestrian detection, standard lane departure warning with lane keeping assist, standard adaptive cruise control, warranty and maintenance coverage. Toyota's warranties toe the industry line with 3 years of bumper-to-bumper coverage and 5 years for the powertrain. All models come with 2 years of complimentary scheduled maintenance, a rarity in this segment. Limited warranty covers 3 years or 36,000 miles. Powertrain warranty covers 5 years or 60,000 miles. Complimentary maintenance is covered for 2 years or 25,000 miles.
A new 2023 Kia Sportage courtesy of Fred Beans Kia in Mechanicsburg, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. As we are in this one today because this has been completely redesigned for the 2023 model year. It's a very unique look, very nice exterior design. I love the exterior remodel because I think it looks dang good. But anyways, in this video we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels available for the 2023 Sportage. First one being the LX, being the one we have today, actually starting at $27,205. Then there is the EX for $29,205. X line for $32,005, and then the SX for $32,705. And by the way, that X line comes standard with all-wheel drive. All those other prices were standard with front-wheel drive, but you can add all-wheel drive for an additional $1,800 then if you wanted to. But powering the beast is going to be a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder, putting out 187 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque, again sent to front wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic. MPG numbers are going to come in at approximately 22 in the city, 30 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 22 city, 28 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. One more thing I wanted to note though, before we do any kind of fun acceleration test, is there is going to be both hybrid and plug-in hybrid options available later down the line, later this year actually. And that's going to be powered by a 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder with an electric motor, putting out approximately 226 horsepower. But that model is not out yet, so we're not going to be reviewing that one today. So I did just want to make note of that in case you wanted to hold out for 40 miles per gallon in that one. But now, having mentioned all of that, there is actually a drive mode circular dial directly behind the shifter that's going to give you normal, sport, smart, and snow, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity quite substantially as well. So now, having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2023 Kia Sportage here up to speed. All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. It's not bad. Definitely not the quickest thing in the world, but you're not going to have any issues merging onto the highway either. And this sport mode definitely helps out. You can immediately tell the difference. It's holding the RPMs at a much higher level when you have it in that sport mode. So if you do have to merge onto the highway, just flick into the sport mode real quick and you're not going to have any issues there. Another cool thing, I don't think I even mentioned it, is the gauges change colors when you put it in sport mode as well to red. So didn't mention that before, so I wanted to mention that too. And not only that, these headrests are super comfortable. A lot of times when you hit the gas, your head goes back into the headrest, and these are some of the most comfortable headrests. Even with this being a base model of the Sportage, you don't usually get that in base models. You usually get these hard leatherette kind of headrests, but these are nice. I really like it. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So as expected, you will find four-wheel ventilated disc brakes coming standard on the Sportage. As far as that braking feel goes, it's actually really nice. It's got a firm feel to it. It didn't expect that. Typically with SUVs, you have a much softer braking feel, but this one feels perfect, quite honestly, especially for what it is. It's an excellent braking feel. I could definitely tell you that. As far as suspension and handling goes, you will get an independent strut type front suspension, in the back independent multi-link rear suspension. And as far as ride quality goes, as we were cruising down these back roads here, it's perfectly fine. Honestly, I've never had any real issues with Kia and Hyundai ride quality, so definitely soaking up the road imperfections quite nicely. As far as steering feel goes, it does adjust pretty substantially depending upon the drive mode that you put it in. So I love that because it gives you something for everybody. So if you liked a heavier steering feel, put it in that sport driving mode and you're going to get that. If you wanted it to loosen up a little bit, put it in the comfort mode. But having said that, even in comfort mode, it still feels absolutely perfect. So steering feels 100% on point here in the Sportage. As far as cabin noise goes, when I was on the highway back there, you get a little bit. I mean, it's pretty much as expected. It's nothing too crazy, but there is a little bit of road noise that comes into the cabin, but it's nothing that would deter me from buying this. I could say that, so that's perfectly fine. As far as visibility goes, I could see 100%, move squirrel, I could see 100% perfectly fine out the back, so you're definitely not gonna have any issues there either. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our completely redesigned 2023 Kia Sportage. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new completely redesigned 2023 Kia Sportage. I love this redesigned look. This looks so much better, it looks so futuristic, and it's like nothing else on the road right now. But anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and start up front of the Sportage here. Gloss black front grille will come standard with silver accents. There is that new Kia logo on the front hood then as well. Down below, you will actually find some silver skid plates that come standard, and that's going to be for both the front and the back, actually. To the sides, LED headlights do come standard across the board with LED daytime running lights. You get the automatic feature with that as well, along with automatic high beams then as well, coming standard for all trim levels. A lot of times that'll be an added feature that's optional on other manufacturers, but I love that Kia put them standard on all trim levels. It's definitely pretty nice. LED fog lights coming with the SX Prestige trim level and up, and again, loving the design of the front end. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of the Sportage here. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of this one. And so to start up top, roof rails do come standard on the X-Line trim level and up. Rear privacy glass is going to come on all trim levels. There is a silver beltline molding if you were to go with the LX or EX trim level, so we do indeed have that with us here today. But if you were to go with any of the other trim levels, you're actually going to get gloss black window surround, so a little bit of a differentiation there. Raised suspension coming with the X-Line and X Pro, so any trim level with an X in it essentially. Silver trim found on the lower portion of that side profile. It definitely looks nice. Body colored power adjustable side mirrors coming standard. They will be heated, coming standard for all trim levels across the board as well, with LED integrated turn signals if you were to go with the EX trim level and up. So I can't show that to you guys unfortunately, but floating roof line is found towards the back on that C-pillar back there. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. It's going to differ pretty substantially amongst the trim levels here. 17-inch silver alloys for the LX, 18-inch machine finished alloys for the EX, 19-inch gloss black alloys for the X-Line, 18-inch matte gray alloys for the SX trim levels, and then 17-inch black alloys with BF Goodrich all-terrain tires, kind of the off-road tires there for the X Pro trim levels. So that about rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, and so but now since we are around back of this one, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light all the way to the top. Just below that, rear window wiper, LED tail lights coming standard for all trim levels across the board. Gotta love that new style Kia logo back there as well. You do have a little bit of added silver trim on the rear bumper there as well, and just below it all, I think you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. right, and so now since we are around to the back of the Sportage, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is a power tailgate if you were to go with the X-Line trim level and up. As far as cargo capacity goes, once opened up, that's going to come in at 39.6 cubic feet behind that second row. If that was not enough space, that second row does fold down, bumping that up to 74.1 cubic feet. That is substantially more than the previous generation, so well done Kia for that. There is some cargo lighting back there, of course. There's a 12-volt power outlet. There's a rear cargo cover available, grocery bag hooks, and if you lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire down there as well. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is coming in at 41.3 inches. Insanely impressive for rear legroom, even in an SUV. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in that second row there. Rear center armrest with cup holders does come standard. Rear ventilation then as well. And if you were to go with the EX trim level and up, you will also get rear USB charging ports back there then as well. But then making our way to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seats coming with the LX. That's what we have today. EX trim level is going to add 10-way power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar and heated front seats then as well for that EX trim level and up. Syntex upholstery coming with the X-Line, SX, and X Pro trims. 8-way power adjustable front seat coming with the Prestige trim levels. Ventilated front seats then coming with the X Pro Prestige. As far as seat comfort goes, honestly, it was amazing. And part of the reason is because of their super comfy headrests, like I was mentioning to you guys. So definitely no issues with the seat comfort, even with our bottom trim level, even with the cloth seating. So wonderful seat comfort, I gotta say. Then take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the EX trim level and up, and heated for the EX trim level and up. You typically don't find a heated steering wheel on one of the bottom trim levels, so well done Kia yet again, beating out the other manufacturers on that for sure. Then make your way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. In typical Kia fashion, you have all of your buttons located on the side of the key. Lock, of course, being that giant button towards the top. You got unlock and that button to unlock the rear hatch as well, but essentially it is all keyless entry with a push button start if you go with the EX trim level and up. Otherwise, it is going to be a traditional key start. So all I'm going to do here, simply put my foot on the brake and turn the key. And this is one of the best parts now of the new Sportage 12.2-inch digital cage cluster coming standard for every single trim level across the board, even our bottom trim level that we have here today. What's even cooler, why I like digital gauges, is because they're pretty customizable. For example, when you change the drive mode, it's going to adjust the color of the gauges up there, which I think is super cool. You can't get that with traditional analog gauges that you typically get on bottom trim levels. So well done Kia, you absolutely crushed it there. Also, of course, you have all your basic information: outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, basically everything else you would expect to find on a digital gauge cluster. Then make our way to overall interior quality. Panoramic sunroof for the EX trim level and up, overhead sunglass holder, LED interior lighting for the EX trim level and up. And that EX trim level and up is really where you kind of want to be at, to be quite honest, because wireless phone charger, dual zone climate control, all that is with the EX trim level and up. You will get alloy foot pedals if you were to go with those X Pro trim levels. Dual cup holders, of course, found in the middle there, and there's a little bit of added storage just behind those cup holders, which I kind of thought was pretty cool, and a decent amount of space within the center armrest. So as far as overall interior quality goes, it's finished like I would expect it to be. So personally, I didn't have any issues. But then taking a look at the infotainment screen now, 8-inch color touchscreen display coming with the LX trim level only. So that's what we got here. But again, if you were to go with the EX trim level and up, you will get a 12.3-inch color touchscreen display. Either way, you still get Bluetooth and audio streaming. You still get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Factory navigation system coming with the SX trim level and up. There's also a quiet mode, which shuts off the rear speakers and limits the front speakers so that if you have children sleeping in the back, they're less likely to wake up. I always find that feature pretty cool. There's a voice recorder as well on the infotainment screen. So if you didn't want to forget something, just record your voice and then you can play it back at a later date. Of course, you have your radio information up there as well. And so by the way, when it comes to the sound systems, 6 speakers for the LX, EX, and X line, and then for the SX trim level and up, you will get an 8-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with 400 watts. But it's not the one we have today, unfortunately, since we have the LX trim. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Hello, it was okay. Decent amount of bass, but we were listening to FM radio. I didn't see any Sirius XM, unfortunately, so couldn't get a full glimpse of the clarity, I guess you could say, because it isn't all that clear on regular radio anyways. But I will say the base was plenty fine. But then last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Sportage in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so let me start with IIHS top safety pick for the 2022 model year. So the 2023 has not yet been tested at the time of this video, so keep an eye out for that. I would imagine it would be at least that or better. Typically vehicles get better over time, but hasn't yet been tested. But front side current airbags do come standard. In the back you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, here's the fun safety so to speak, forward collision warning with car, pedestrian, and cyclist detection, lane following assist, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, driver attention warning with leading vehicle departure alert, rear parking sensors then as well. Every trim is going to get that stuff. That's pretty cool. Then if you were to go with the EX trim level and up, as always, you will get a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts, I really like this one, if I'm being honest. Love the unique redesign. You guys know I love different. This looks like nothing else on the road right now, so that is amazing in my personal opinion. Insanely comfortable headrests. Like I've said, some of the most comfortable headrests I've experienced outside of the pillows that you typically find in Mercedes or Maybach. Full digital gauges coming standard is absolutely wonderful as well. I think the only other vehicle that puts it standard on all trim levels that I can think of is the Volkswagen Taos, but that's really all I can think of. So that's excellent that Kia does that. You also get America's best warranty, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. So you cannot beat that here in the US at least. And of course, it's much larger than the previous generation as well. So a lot more bang for the buck with this one as opposed to the 2022. So I really can't find a whole lot of room for improvement on this thing other than, I mean, interior quality could be a little bit better, less hard plastics, but then of course they would have to raise the price, and I like where the price point's at as well. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the Sportage in the comment section below. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free